So I'm just gonna come right out and say it, but this game is absolutely amazing. I am loving Ghost of Yotei. I've always been super, or at least lately, I've been super cautious of brand new games that have been coming out. I've been pretty disappointed with some, big name releases that have rolled out over the past few years. It doesn't help that like really amazing games will come out like Baldur's Gate 3 and just wow my socks off, and then you'll have another large titled game come out and it's just incredibly disappointed. And I've had my heart broken quite a few times with the release of some new games, and so I was super duper nervous about the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. But nonetheless, I actually ended up having the day off on, I think October 2nd is when this game came out. So I played it the second it came out, and I have been playing it ever since. I am really relieved and extraordinarily happy with how Ghost of Yotei turned out to be. I absolutely love it. And I kind of just wanted to make this video to, show you guys some clips of it if you haven't already seen it. And if you're on the fence about, possibly buying this game, I can tell you right now, the short and sweet is if you enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima at all, you're going to love Ghost of Yotei 100%. I almost guarantee it. So some of the first things that really just stand out is just the visuals. This game is absolutely beautiful. Ghost of Tsushima was known for being just an absolutely beautiful looking game, and its sequel, Ghost of Yotei, is no different. In fact, I feel like a lot of the colors really just pop, and they're just really bright and pop out at you. And just like in the first game, there are moments where you're kind of just playing, you're going through your adventure, and you can't help but just stop and admire the view. And it feels almost silly looking at that. It's not real. It's a video game world, and yet it's so beautiful and so captivating that you want to admire it, just like if you were actually in that world. And I think that's just such a huge accomplishment that both Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei do incredibly well. If you're worried about like how does the game play, it's been super smooth, and the fighting style it has the same DNA as Ghost of Tsushima, but instead of the different sword stances, you have all of these different weapons that the main character Atsu uses. And actually, I really like that. I like swapping from katana to the odachi, to the spear, and kind of switching back and forth between all of these different weapons depending on the specific weapon that the opponent is using. I think that makes it super diverse and dynamic and fun, and it's a little bit more interesting than the different sword styles from the first game. I really, really like it. My opinion is that Ghost of Yotei kind of does everything that Ghost of Tsushima does, and then really evolves and branches out from it and just sort of builds on top of it. This game adds just so many extra things on top of what Ghost of Tsushima already had. Like I already said, the different weapons, there's different types of assassinations. When you're traveling from place to place, exploring is a lot of fun, just seeing all the new different areas. I felt like Ghost of Tsushima ended up being feeling kind of samey. Everything sort of felt the same, but I really do feel like there's a lot of variety with the different landscapes and everything like that within this world. And there's camping. You can sit down with your horse and start a fire and cook food for different bonuses, which was a huge surprise to me. I really like that feature. There's painting. They have the bamboo strikes again. It's just, I'm so happy with how this game turned out to be. Kind of going back to how I felt like Ghost of Tsushima was getting kind of samey when you're attacking all of the different outposts and farms and looking for all the shrines. That was a game that I had wanted to 100% and get the platinum trophy on, but something about that game just it was feeling a little too repetitive, and I haven't quite felt that way yet with Ghost of Yotei. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm progressing along pretty smoothly. I'm just about done with the game now, a little after, like about a week after this game has released, and I'm loving it. But my final thoughts are, like I said, if you at all liked Ghost of Tsushima, or you have a passing interest in this game, I think it's definitely worth buying. This game's absolutely amazing. I have had nothing but fun about it. The only real complaint I would say, like story-wise, I think Ghost of Tsushima has a better story to it. There were moments in Jin's story where it just felt so personal, so deep, and there were times where I was actually kind of choking up with his story, and I haven't really felt that way with Atsu's story. I do think it's a little bit weaker, but I think they do everything else even better than the original game. So really, it evens out, and it's absolutely incredible. So again, if you haven't tried it, I think it's definitely worth a purchase or just testing it out at least a little bit. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this game, and if you pick it up, I hope you feel the exact same way I do.